Okay, hi there, welcome back. Hopefully I'm in the right place. I tried to go live a minute ago, but I didn't seem to be anywhere. So just bear with me a minute while I just double check. If you're here, just leave me a comment below so I know you can see and hear me. Right, there we go. Looks like it's working now. Hi Diane, welcome. So, welcome back. This is the third session of today. I'm just going to share this into our VIP group so everybody can see it in there as well. There we go. Right, so yes, this is the third of today's session. So first thing this morning we did our catalogue walkthrough, and then we also then had a session with Quiet Meadow. Thanks Diane, thanks for sharing. And we made these lovely three very different cards using the stamp set and dies. And now for this session we're going to be playing with the Colour and Contour stamp set and dies. So before we get started, hi Sue, welcome. Just please, I would love it if you would share this video to your Facebook page, tag your friends, any groups that you're in you think might like it, that'd be great. Hi Sophia, hi Amy, that's great. I can see people are jumping on now. That's great. Thank you all for sharing. I really appreciate that. I hope you're all enjoying the day so far. I know I'm having a lot of fun. Just to keep you updated on the weather, it's now sunny. It was grey and raining in our last session, so I had to turn all the lights on, and now the sun is streaming through the window, so I've had to turn all the lights off. So I've seen that you've all been having fun and commenting on the posts, the challenges that I've had up over the last little while, looking for flowers and looking for foods, and that's brilliant. I'll be giving out prizes to all the correct answers on those at my live on Wednesday, so you've got a little bit more time. So what I'll do is every correct answer I'll put in a hat, and we'll draw for a prize at the live on Wednesday. Also, I see that you're picking your bingo numbers, so if you haven't done that already, make sure to do so. That's a pinned post at the top of the page. What else do I need to tell you? Yes, I had posted a question earlier on about your favourite sentiments, so I'm enjoying seeing your answers to that. So keep going on that one. That's great. And I have just posted a question for you all about your favourite way to colour, because in the catalogue there's all sorts of, I think I mentioned earlier, there are all sorts of ways to colour your images. Quite a lot of the stamp sets, like the one we're going to use now, has two-step stamping, so you can colour it just using your stamps. My favourite way to colour, as those of you who are regulars will know, is to use my ink pads and a water brush or a blender pen to colour. We've got our Stampin' blends, you can use your sponging, we've got watercolour pencils, we've also now got our new pastels, so there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different ways that you can add colour to your project. So I'll be really interested to see what your favourites are, and then maybe I can incorporate that into videos in future. Similarly, if there's kind of colouring methods that you struggle with but would like to figure out how to do, then put that in the comments as well, and I'll happily incorporate that into our future videos and sessions. But for now, we're going to play with the great Colour and Contour bundle. Like I said, I love the two-step stamping on this. I think these are gorgeous images, and I love the sentiments and the fonts and that. And again, we've got a splodge. There's a couple of new stamp sets with these sort of textury, splodgy bits on it, and these are always great to have. And then we have the coordinating dies. So the dies cut out this image and this image, but the main thing about these dies has got to be these rectangles. Thank you all. I can see you're sharing. Thank you so much. So what I've done is I've cut them out for you because each one of the rectangles is slightly different. So you've got the largest one, which is about, I'll show you how it fits on a card front. There, like so. Diane says she'd like to know the best cardstock to use for each technique. Absolutely, Diane, I can tell you that. So we've got this one, and then the next one down is stitched. The one down there has got double stitching. This one has got panel here so that you can thread paper, or you can thread ribbon or whatever you like through it if you wish. And then we've got this one. So these, most of our sentiments will fit on this. And then you have this great little scalloped, stitched scallop, which is fantastic. Hi Terry, welcome. So I think I love and of course these coordinate with our rectangle dies as well, so you can layer them up even more. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? So for our first card, I'm just going to do something really, really simple. I'm just going to grab a scrap of white. There we go. Okay, so what I've got is a Whisper White card base. There we go. And then I've got a panel of Whisper White, and I have embossed this using our new Bark 3D embossing folder. So you'll all know that I'm still in mourning because our subtle embossing folder has gone away. Don't get me started on why that's gone. There should be a staple that never goes anywhere. But anyway, so this is, if you imagine our subtle embossing folder on steroids. It's much more textured. So what I'm going to do is, you've got the raised side here. I'm actually going to use the reverse side, so it's like debossed. Okay, and then I've cut one of these rectangles, and that's going to go in the center. Now, this is going to be a really simple card, which has just got a pop of color. So it's over to you guys while I do my stamping and stuff. What do you want the pop of color on this card to be? So it could be anything, any Stampin' Up color. Just shout it out in the comments and we'll see how we go. Okay, so I've got my scrap here and I'm going to stamp the large image. This is the main flower image. And I'm going to stamp that in Memento Black. Ooh, Frisia says Cat, Turquoise says Amy. What else have we got? Okay, so let's pop that there. Mint Macaron says Sophia. Nice choice, Sophia. I like it. Okay, and then I'm going to have another scrap. I had it and then it went away, so I'm going to have to find another one. There we go. Mint Macaron, purple, Lynn. Yeah, figured you might want that one. Alright, so now I want, for the sentiment, I want You're Absolutely Amazing. Okay, and that's not the scrap I want. So I'm going to stamp this in black. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to die cut that using the smallest little scallop here. Close that down. Okay, right, so let's have a look. Purple, Mint Macaron. So we've got two requests for Mint Macaron. But I don't have any Mint Macaron ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next best colour, which is our soft succulent, because I've got this beautiful ribbon. and that will do what we need it to do. Okay, so it's unraveled, so I'm just rolling it back up again. So what I'm going to do is grab this image here, and that is the image to add colour to our flower. Yeah. Okay, so this is one of our distinctive stamp sets, so the image is not solid. Okay, so what we've got is it lines up with that top bud and these three here. So I'm just going to see if I can look at this through the camera and do it. Now, they don't line up precisely, and I love that look. One, I just like that look anyway, and two, it makes it a lot easier when you're stamping because it's not supposed to be like that. Okay, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Evening Evergreen. Okay, and speaking of colouring, I'm going to grab my blender pen, because there isn't a stamp for these leaves, and I just feel that they need a little bit of colour. So I'm using my blender pen. Okay, and then we just scribble that off on a piece of scrap paper. Okay, so now I'm going to die cut this and die cut my flower. So I shall be right back. Just 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so here we go. So let's bring our bits back in. Okay, so now that's going to go on there. I'm going to add that underneath, like so. And we've got our ribbon. So I'm going to do my favourite use of ribbon, which is to do a zigzag. Okay, so that's going to go behind here, like so. It's going to make this super easy. And actually, I think I might want to just stamp this on here. So let's see. I think the 2 is just a little bit too much for my liking. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my mint macaron now. Which is here. I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to stamp it off. There we go. Okay, this is coming together. Alright, so let's grab our dimensionals. I'm going to pop these up. And you know that we're going to put some Wink of Stella on here, right? And then I want some tiny little bits here just on this leaf. So I'm going to take my edge piece here. Just trim that. Pop that there. And then we'll put another piece here. Okay. And let's do some spritzing with our ink Stella first. There we go. And then we'll add some on here. Now, if you didn't want to stamp this, you could colour this with your blends or with your, I've already done that. With your blends or with your markers, whatever your medium of choice is. Okay, so we've got that, and then this is going to get popped up as well. You can see I've used a scrap for this. Okay. All right, now this is going to get glued down, and when we're gluing down our embossed panels, we do need to add a decent amount because there's a lot of texture on here. So I'm adding a little bit more glue than perhaps I normally would, but again, being careful, don't put it too near the edges, otherwise when you press it down it'll just ooze out the sides, and we don't want that. Okay, there we go. And then our usual adhering ribbon. Doesn't need to stick too well because we've got our panel is actually going to hold it down, but we do want it just to be held in place whilst we position it, and that's where the tape comes in very, very handy. Okay, just make sure that we're happy with that. Yep. Okay, so now we'll just take these off. Lay it down straight. You can see I've got a little bit of glue sticking out the corner there, so let me just tidy that up. There we go, and then we'll trim this end. There we are, and then finish off with do I have, where am I in colour? Dun -dun. Did have some in colour gems. Where did I put them? Okay, so we'll stick with our tried and trusted rhinestones because really you just can't go wrong with these. And then we'll put one in here. Yep. There's where I want it. And then we'll have a small one up there. Okay, so there we go. That's our first card, and like that you could just do that in all sorts of colors, whatever you like. Really, really, really simple. Okay, so let me know what you think about that one. I think, as you said, it would look equally good if we did purple or any of the colors you suggested, actually. Pretty much any colour, apart maybe from browns. Not sure they would work. Right, let's get rid of this ribbon. So is this one on anybody's list? I know we asked the same question of the Quiet Meadow, and quite a few of you had it on your list. And I know that nearly everybody has the stamp set that we're going to be using at our next session, the artistically inspired, whatever it's called. I've forgotten the name of it now. Don't know where it is now. But yes, I know that's on everybody's list. But has this been on anybody's list, or has it come past you by? Diane's waiting for it to be delivered. Diane, I think you and I must just read each other's minds. Do we? We obviously have the same sort of taste and stuff. Okay, right. There we go. Right, so for our next one, again, this is going to be just a really, really simple card. Okay. Might be now, Lynn. Yeah, Lynn, you definitely need to be, you're going to be using up your stamp club. So like I said, if you've got lots of stuff that's kind of appearing on your wish list, then Stamp Club, Monthly Stamp Club, is the way to go for you. It means you can just build your supplies bit by bit. Gives you time to play with your bits as they arrive, rather than arriving all in one go, which I think sometimes can just be a bit overwhelming. Now for this one, I was going to use pink, but given that a few of you asked for purple, let's do Fresh Freesia. This definitely seems to be the favourite stamp set. Okay, so I'm going to reuse this one from the last card. Okay, there we go. All right, and then we've got our ink pad, and let's grab a scrap. Okay, so now we're going to play with the big flowers here. Okay, so we've got our outline, and we've got our filling in bits. Again, this is just makes it really, 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 really easy to colour in. So again, we'll grab our black ink. Okay. I'm just going to stamp 2 of these. Okay. And then we'll take our Fresh Freesia. This is so easy to work with, this set. So we'll just, again, there's no special, but I tend to just have a look around and get it where you think works best. Okay, there we go. There we go. And then I just want to show you something. I just want to show you how different it looks if you ink it up. Okay, and then stamp it down in the same colour. You get a much, much softer result, which is also really, really pretty. But we're going to go with these for the moment. Okay, and we've got this one. Now, this is where the trick will lie. So we just keep going round until we think we've reached the stage where it matches. So I have a feeling it might be this way. It's one of these things that once you find it, then you always know it, if that makes sense. It's like Wheel of Fortune, isn't it? There. There. That's it. See that? So now I know it's this bit. So I'm just going to die cut these two out. I should be right back. There we have it. Just pop that back in there. Okay. And then I want this again. And this time I'm going to use some grey. So I'm going to use some smoky slate. It's here. And I'm going to stamp off. Like so. Oops. And our flowers. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder. Here. Okay, and then we've got our ribbon. You can see how this finished shaping up, can't you? Okay, and then I'm going to add some more texture down here. Perfect. And then we've got this cute little leaf here, so I'm going to add this. I'm going to do it in black, so bring my Memento black in. And I'm just going to add an image there. Okay. And I'm going to add another one under here. Yeah, getting there. Okay. Close up our ink pads. Okay. I'm not going to colour those. So first things first, let's get our ribbon on. So like I said, I'm not putting any bows or anything on here. I'm simply putting a row of ribbon, length of ribbon. I'll even try and put it on straight. There we go. I'm just going to pop that down on my silicone craft sheet for the moment because I've got some adhesive on the back and I don't want it to stick. Okay, and then we'll add our sentiment. So I'm going to add them in the corners here so it sits on either side of the ribbon. So again, it helps to hold the ribbon in place. Let's even try to get it straight. There we are. And then obviously these are going to be popped up as well. Okay. Okay, and then let's grab our matte black dots. And get our large ones. Pop that in the center. There we go. Oops. Let's make sure it sticks. Oh, I've taken it up without the glue, so make sure I've got the glue dot with it, and the same has happened with this one. There we go. There we are, and then a wink of Stella on the leaves. Just be a bit careful that we don't smear the memento, because we've got a light colour. We don't want the black running into the purple. There we are. And now we can glue this. To our piece of black. There we go, and then we'll pop that up onto our card base. Make sure it's the right way around. Okay, and then one final touch just on the inside. There we go. That's just a cool image, just generally as a squiggle. Doesn't have to be a flower. All right, so that is our second card. Let me know what you think about that one. And again, could just use, I've kept the color scheme really simple, so that it just shows off the images. But you could do lots of different colors on your card, or you could do, this would be great for a whole set. Ooh, I've got hearts. Thank you, ladies. Ooh, you like that one? Good. Well, it's got fresh freesia in it, which I know we're all loving at the minute. Okay, so that's 2. These are just so lovely. I mean, I've seen a lot of ideas online with these, and a lot of it's really sort of busy. And so I just thought I'd try and do something fairly clean and simple, because you know that's what I like. So these are just really easy to come together, and also, like I said, they just would really work well or lend themselves to making a gorgeous set. So you could just do these in all sorts of colours. But again, lots of other things you can be doing with these too. Now, for our last card, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So these are quite feminine and pretty. So I'm going to make a masculine card. And I'm going to use this scallop edge, which is just brilliant. I love this. This is probably my favourite bit of the whole die set. I know, crazy, right? But what I want to show you is, and the reason is, I mentioned this at the back, but there is a new die set which I have on my way to me at the minute, and it will be easy for you to miss, which is this basic borders set, because it doesn't coordinate with any stamp set. But you can see it's got some small scallops, it's got some zigzags, these are clouds. When I first looked at it, I thought this was for envelopes, but it's not. So these are all just as make a great chevron, a curve that's about the size of a card front. So these are great, but this scallop, well, there's all sorts of things that scallops can be, can't they? They can be patterns, they can be waves, they can be bunting, they can be all sorts of things. So I'm going to, what I've done is I've cut some of these out of Bermuda Bay, Night of Navy, Mango Melody, Pale Papaya, and Cinnamon Cider. So some nice sort of bright but manly kind of colours. I've got a Bermuda Bay card base and a layer of white. Okay, and I'm going to team this with, so I was going to do one of these, but then I thought I saw Diane posted earlier, and when I asked about what your favorite sentiment is in the new catalogue, and this to a person who still got it but might not remember where they put it, happy birthday, I thought this is perfect, so we're going to go with this instead. Okay, so this is dead easy. All we want to do is I'm going to actually just lay some glue down. Let's grab some scrap in case I go off. So I'm just going to build these scallops up from the bottom. Okay, so what I want to do is make sure that there's no glue under the top bits there. Okay, just get that bottom bit, and now we've got our pale papaya. Now you could do all sorts of things. You could offset them, or you could put them at an angle, but I'm just going to line them up like so. So we just slip them down behind. Okay, and then we've got our mango melody. So again, putting it at the bottom. We want to leave no glue there because that's where we're going to tuck in the next layer. Okay, and again, I'm not being especially careful about them being exactly even. Careful is not really my style, as you ladies know. Okay, there we go, and then we've got our Bermuda Bay as our final piece. Okay, so there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just trim the edges. Just a little bit there, I think. And there we go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And again, you could do that with all sorts of other colours, whatever you like. You could do a monochrome with your greys or any sort of range of colours, or you could do bright happy colours, or you could do girly colours, whatever you like. This is just a great layout. And then, here we go. I hope I've left enough room for my sentiment. I have, look, it's as if I planned it. I haven't planned it. It's just luck. Okay, so, and then I'm going to do something a little bit interesting on my stamp here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure it's the right way around. And we grab sponge dauber. So we want our Bermuda Bay ink pad, which is, I had it out earlier, so is it in one of my other boxes? Hang on, yep, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up in Bermuda Bay. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Night of Navy and I'm going to just add, and again, I'm not trying to get it exact, I'm just trying to get a bit of an ombre effect going on here. So I'm just adding some navy to the happy birthday and here and there to the center line. So you'll see when I stamp this down, see if I can get it straight. There we go. You get that jewel effect. Okay, and then all we want to do, there we go, is I'm actually going to pop this up. Ooh, that one went everywhere. So here we go. Now I finished a little bit earlier than planned, so because this is my last card. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do what Diane has asked and just talk through different card and paper for different techniques. Okay, so let me just bring in the cards. So we've got card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. So again, something just really different using the dies and then the 2 cards. So let me know what your favorite is, 1, 2, or 3, and I'll just gather some bits together so I can talk you through colouring. Okay, so it's very straightforward actually. Okay, so the blue pen, and there's, and we want our watercolour brush. Okay. So blue is 1, 2, 3. Diane is 2, 3, 1. Oh, you were unanimous in earlier on today, but there's a bit of a difference of opinion now. 1, 2, 3 for Doreen. All of them, says Prissy. I'm glad you think number 3 is clever. I do try and find sort of unusual ways of using our stuff. So when you look at that stamp set, you wouldn't think mail card at all. And I've done a nice tent fold as well, which is kind of cool. And again, you could add stamping or texture or whatever to that, but I just like it like that, nice and plain. And of course, the sentiment is just fab. That's why I love this stamp set. It's really, really good. I like thanks for lending an ear and keeping a straight face. Yeah, really, really good. Okay, so colouring. Okay, so very, very simple. If any of your colouring techniques are using water, so whether that's using your aqua painter or your watercolor pencils, I think when I use the pastels, they're water based as well. So if you're using water, you want to use watercolor paper. Okay, if you're just doing a tiny little hint of water, your normal cardstock is absolutely fine. But if you're going to do any proper watercoloring, where you're going to work it in any way, you want your watercolor paper. Otherwise, what happens is, I'll show you. If you watercolor on plain white cardstock, I'm just going to grab a scrap. Here we go. Okay, so let's say I took my watercolor pencil. Okay, and I'll put the colour down. So this is just our basic white cardstock. So you can just colour like an ordinary colouring pencil. That's not a problem. Okay, now I'm going to take my water brush. I'm just going to make sure I've got some water in the tip. Just bear with me a second. Here we go. All right, so we've got some water there. Now, if I'm just going to spread it a little, it's not a problem. You see that? It spreads quite nicely on my paper. But if I was to continue working it and adding more water, okay, you can see what starts to happen. Okay, is that my paper starts to peel a little, and even that's not too bad. But if I want to go back in again with my watercolor pencil, okay, the more I work this, you can see it's starting to be like a little bit grey and not that brilliant. Can you see that? That is because the paper is it's cold pressed, it's pressed so that it's really, really smooth, which makes it brilliant for stamping. But when you want to try and work it with anything, it just doesn't work. Now, similarly, with you've seen me use our blender pens before. In fact, I used it earlier on, okay? So similarly, you can't do lots and lots and lots on your Whisper White with this, otherwise, because the more you rub this cardstock, it tends to pill up a little bit. But if you're just doing a bit of light colouring, then that's what I would do, okay? Now, for our blends, okay, just going to clean that off. So our blends, again, these work absolutely fine, again, on our basic white cardstock. So this is light Daffodil Delight, and this is dark Daffodil Delight, okay? So you can see that these work really well, okay? But if I was to continue working this, okay, now my colouring, I don't do lots of layering and adding back and going back in and doing more, but you can see that as I work it, it tends to get a bit grey, and that's so just that is fine. But if I was to go back and do more, you can see because it's gone through, it starts to saturate the paper. So again, the kind of sort of fairly straightforward colouring, your basic white cardstock absolutely will still work. If you're really going to be getting into layering alcohol on top and on top and on top, I'd recommend that you use our thick Whisper White. Okay. Now, if you're going to be doing anything that involves proper amounts of water, you really need our watercolor paper, and you've seen me use this quite a lot, simply because it can take you, and this is it can just take the working. I'll just grab a scrap here, okay. So if I can squeeze my paper, just get my water out of this. Hang on. I think I've got an air bubble in my pen. There we go. Okay, so you can put as much water on here as you want, and it will not pill up, but it does have some texture to it. So this is our watercolor pencil. Okay, so I'm just scribbling that down, and then you can really get in and work this and get it a lot smoother. So you can see I'm really able to get in here an awful lot more than I can do on my Whisper White, my basic white. See that? And then I can add more. And you guys have seen me do techniques where I've basically completely saturated our watercolor paper. So the short answer to your question, Diane, is that for most colouring that you're going to do on your stamp sets, your basic white cardstock is absolutely fine. If you're going to do some serious watercolour, I would use our watercolour paper. If you're going to do some serious blending, I'd use the thick Whisper White. What about the shimmer card? Yes, so Stampin' Up! Says that you can use your white shimmer card for watercolouring on. But again, I would say that's fine for fairly light watercolouring. So for example, if you were to do this set, okay, and you were to stamp this down and then watercolour on here, picking up your ink from your ink pad, that would be absolutely fine, and you'd get a lovely shimmer behind it. But it's still cardstock rather than watercolor paper, and it won't withstand serious amounts of water on it. Again, with the shimmer card, you can use your blends on it, and you'll get that lovely shimmer underneath. Depends what effect you're going for. So like I said, most of the time you'll see me color, you'll see me do it on just our basic white cardstock, because it can take most of it. It's only really when you start getting into serious layering or serious amounts of water, or serious working of the paper, that you need to move to a thicker, more robust type of paper, so that it doesn't just pull the fibres apart. So I hope that has helped, Diane. But if you've got any more questions, just shout and I'll be happy to answer them if I know the answer. Okay, so there we go. That is our third session for today. But obviously, now where is it? Where is it? Our next session is at, now let's make sure I give you the right time, because I gave you the wrong time earlier on for the last one. So the next session, live session, is at 5:30. So at 5:30 I will be playing with the artistically inked stamp set and dies. Might even cut into the paper for you, so make sure you're here for that. As I say, it's great to see the comments that you're making on the page. If you have any of these stamp sets or products already and you've made anything with them, I would love to see what you've done with them. So post them either on the main page or in the VIP group. If you haven't already done so, I would love it if you shared this video. And hopefully I will see you all again at 5:30. I nearly said 4:30. 5:30. I will see you all again to play with the artistically inked bundle. Thanks very much. Bye.